Congressman Mike Johnson joins us this morning from Washington, D.C. Hey, Mr. Mike, how are you this morning?
Hey, guys. Great.
So explain to me and everybody, because, you know, America's in flames, Mike. I know because NBC told me that. Explain how America is a safer place.
Well, in light of this executive order that's got so much attention on immigration, I think we are safer. Look, I've said in multiple interviews over the last couple of days, every member of Congress has been hounded by the media for a statement, and I came out early with mine. I said, look, it's a matter of common sense that we have to do these things. We have to carefully review anybody who's entering this country from areas that we know to be terrorist strongholds. And the 7 nations on this list were identified, as has been said many times over the last couple of days, by the Obama administration. We know these are hotbeds for terrorism, so it just makes sense that we'll do extra vetting, we'll slow the process down, and make absolutely sure that the people that are coming to this country are not coming here to hurt us. I mean, it's not an effort to ban any religion, as these people have said. It's an effort to adequately protect the homeland, and that's the first responsibility of the federal government, to protect the citizenry.
And it has, in my mind, been conveniently forgotten by many in the media that President Obama himself put a short-term ban on Iraqi immigrants back in 2011.
Yes, and Chuck Schumer didn't cry about it.
And there weren't no protests at the airports. What the heck?
Right. It's an incredible double standard. We're going to see much more of that, I fear, over the next 4 years. And it's clear that there's many in the media that are intentionally misrepresenting the content of this executive order because they know that people no longer do their homework. They're not going to read the executive order themselves. They're going to listen to what, as you said, what the media says about it. So they can manipulate the masses. Meanwhile, we've got people like George Soros who are paying protesters to stir up dissension and chaos and anarchy. And this is where we are in America in 2017.
Mike Johnson, there are going to be people that get caught in the cracks, that get stopped in airports, that are, great families, etc. What do you say to those folks?
I say that we're terribly sorry that you're inconvenienced. I was asked that question yesterday morning by KTAL, Channel 6, in an interview I did by the phone, and the reporter said, well, my gosh, we're going to inconvenience people. And I said, well, I'll take inconvenience over the error of allowing a terrorist onto our shores who means to do large numbers of people harm. This is the reality of the world in which we live. It's a dangerous place now. We live in a dangerous world. There are many terrorist organizations that seek to do Americans harm simply because we are Americans, and this is the last bastion of freedom. So I think this executive order is an important measure. I think it's going to help us balance freedom and security. And sometimes we have to sacrifice convenience to make sure that happens.
What are we doing, Mike, to get those possible terrorists who are already here out of the country? Is there a next step? Is there a follow-up?
If through this vetting process, this extreme vetting as it's being called, we're able to identify people who have direct ties to ISIS or one of the other terrorist organizations, obviously they'll be detained. They'll be brought through the system of justice that we have, and that's the purpose of it, so that we can prevent harm to the homeland here. Look, meanwhile, the intelligence community is ramping up all efforts. I have been very pleased with President Trump's picks for his cabinet, for the Secretary of Defense, for all these folks who are in these high posts whose job it is to keep us safe, are very, very good at what they do. And I think when they all begin to work together and they fine-tune this thing, I think America is going to be safer over the next 4 years than it has been over the last 8.
Let's ask, you brought up cabinet members. We just spoke with Jackie Lansdale with Red River United with regard to Betsy DeVos. Your opinion about her?
Look, I think she's got a very strong record. She's a smart lady. She's very accomplished, and she is a believer in school choice. That's raised the ire of some of the teachers' unions, teachers' groups. Look, my wife is a teacher. My mother-in-law retired after 33 years in the classroom. We revere teachers, but we also revere the parents and children, and we believe that kids should have the right to go to a school that is good for them, and that parents ought to have choice in that matter. And as a general an issue, a general principle, I think that's the right thing. And just because this nominee supports that, I don't think she should be blackballed by the Senate.
You think things are ugly now from the political left. Later this evening, President Trump is supposed to announce his Supreme Court nominee.
You sit on that committee, correct?
That's going to get rough, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm on the Judiciary Committee. We handle all things. We're sort of the lawyer to the House of Representatives, as the committee is known. But the nominations come straight out of the White House. And yes, look, the word here on the Hill this morning, I'm talking to you from the Capitol, is that we've got two front runners to fill that seat of the late Antonin Scalia. It's likely to be, and he's going to announce it tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, it's likely to be Judge Neil Gorsuch or Thomas Hardiman. They're both great men. Gorsuch is on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. Hardiman's on the 3rd Circuit. They're very intelligent, very credible. And here's the kicker. They've already both been confirmed unanimously for their current Court of Appeals post by the Senate, including Schumer and all the that voted for these two gentlemen already for the Court of Appeals post. So it's going to be very difficult for Chuck Schumer to come out and begin to cry for the media again today and say, oh, these guys are extremists, because he's voted for them already, and I think that's the key.